James Coburn walks into a Hollywood restaurant and sees David Carradine celebrating a new movie deal. He crosses the room and says 8 words that silence every table. Bruce is dead, and you are here. What David says in the next 60 seconds does not start a fight. It ends a 4-year war with a single question. Los Angeles, California, March 1977. Friday evening, 8:34 p.m. Chasen's restaurant, 9039 Beverly Boulevard, the most famous restaurant in Hollywood, where deals are made and careers are destroyed between the appetizer and dessert, where the powerful come to see and be seen, where your table location announces your status to everyone watching. Red leather booths, white tablecloths, crystal glasses catching candlelight, the smell of prime rib and ambition and expensive perfume. Waiters in black tie, moving silently between tables. The quiet hum of conversations worth millions. David Carradine sits in a corner booth. Good table, not the best, not the front where the studio heads sit, but respectable. A sign that he matters, that he has arrived somewhere worth arriving. He is celebrating. Just signed a 3-picture deal with Warner Brothers. Real money, real budgets. Real movies that people will actually see in theaters. After years of kung fu being his only calling card, the industry is finally taking him seriously as a film actor. Across from him sits his agent. Beside him, his girlfriend of the month. Champagne on the table. Laughter. The glow of success. David is 40 years old. The career is building. The future looks bright. Tonight he allows himself to feel good about it. But then the front door opens. James Coburn walks in. Tall, lean, silver hair swept back. That famous face with the famous grin. Except tonight, there is no grin. Tonight, his face is stone. Coburn is Hollywood royalty. Our man Flint. The Magnificent Seven. The Great Escape. An Oscar in his future for Affliction. One of the most respected actors of his generation, and Bruce Lee's closest friend in Hollywood. They trained together for years. Coburn was one of Bruce's first celebrity students, learned Jeet Kune Do directly from the master, was at Bruce's house the week before he died, was supposed to produce a movie with him, was devastated when the call came from Hong Kong, and for 4 years James Coburn has blamed David Carradine. Not publicly. Coburn is too professional for public feuds, but privately, in the circles that matter, at parties David is not invited to, in conversations that stop when David enters the room. The word spread through Hollywood. Coburn hates Carradine, thinks he stole Bruce's legacy, thinks he profited from a dead man's rejection, thinks he should be ashamed to show his face in this town. David knows all this, has felt the freeze at industry events, has noticed the invitations that never come, has heard the whispers that stop mid-sentence. He has never confronted Coburn about it. What would he say? The accusation is not entirely wrong. But tonight, in Chasen's, their worlds are about to collide. Coburn is led to his table by the maitre d'. Front of the room, of course, the best seat. But the path takes him past David's booth. He sees David, stops walking. The maitre d' continues a few steps before realizing he has lost his guest, turns back confused. Coburn stares at David. David meets his eyes, does not look away, does not pretend he does not see. The restaurant notices, conversations dimming, forks pausing, the electricity of confrontation crackling through the room. Coburn says something to the maitre d', waves him away, then walks directly to David's booth. David's agent tenses. His girlfriend looks confused. Coburn stops at the edge of the table, does not sit, looms. When he speaks, his voice is quiet, but carries. The actor's trick of being heard without shouting. Bruce is dead, and you are here. 8 words, each one a blade. The restaurant goes silent. 50 of Hollywood's elite frozen in place, watching. This is better than any movie. Real drama, real blood. David sets down his champagne glass. Carefully, controlled. James. 4 years. Coburn continues. 4 years since he died, and every week I turn on my television and see you playing his character, wearing his creation like a costume, getting rich off what he built. David's agent starts to speak. David holds up a hand, stops him. You are right. Coburn blinks, not expecting agreement. I am playing a character Bruce Lee created. I am benefiting from a role he was rejected for. Everything you said is true. Then how can you sit there? Coburn's voice rises slightly. How can you celebrate? How can you live with yourself? The question hangs in the air, the real question beneath all the anger. David stands up slowly, not confrontational, just meeting Coburn at eye level. Can I ask you something, James? Coburn's jaw tightens. You trained with Bruce for years. You knew him better than almost anyone in this room. You learned from him. Philosophy, technique, the way he saw the world. What is your point? My point is a question. What would Bruce do? Coburn frowns. If Bruce were here right now, standing where I am standing, someone else playing a role he created, someone else getting the success he deserved, what would Bruce do? Silence. David continues. Would he spend 4 years hating that person? Would he poison the room every time their name came up? Would he let anger eat him alive for something that person did not even choose? Coburn does not answer. Or would he do what he always did? Adapt, move forward, find another way, create something new instead of mourning what was taken. David's voice softens. You knew him, James. I did not. So you tell me, what would Bruce do with this anger you're carrying? The restaurant holds its breath. Coburn's face changes, something shifting behind his eyes, the anger cracking, something else surfacing. Grief. The raw grief that anger has been covering for 4 years. He was my friend. I know. He deserved that role. I know. He deserved to be here, to see what he started, to watch martial arts become part of American culture. He built the door, and he never got to walk through it. David nods. I know, and I walked through it instead. Not because I was better, not because I earned it, because I was white, because Hollywood was not ready for him, because the world was not fair, and it still is not. He pauses. I cannot give the role back, James. I cannot undo what happened. I cannot bring him back. But I can tell you this. Every interview I do, I talk about Bruce Lee. Every chance I get, I tell people where Kung Fu came from, who really created it, who deserved to play Kane. Coburn studies him. You do that. For 4 years. Ask anyone. I never let them forget his name. Why? Because I promised someone. At his funeral. I promised I would keep his name alive. Coburn's expression shifts again. You were at the funeral. Back row. Linda found me after. We talked. She never mentioned that. She did not have to. I kept my promise. That was enough. Silence. A long silence. The restaurant still frozen. Then Coburn does something unexpected. He pulls out the chair across from David, sits down. The room exhales. Confused. The fight that was supposed to happen is not happening. David sits back down slowly. Coburn looks at him. Really looks. Seeing something he did not see before. Bruce used to say something. Holding anger is like gripping a hot coal. You are the one who gets burned. David nods. I have been burning for 4 years. I know. He would be ashamed of me. He would understand. Then he would tell you to let go. Coburn laughs. Short, bitter, but real. You sound like him. I learned from his students, from his books, from his philosophy. It is the least I could do. Learn from the man whose role I took. Coburn shakes his head slowly. 4 years I blamed you, hated you, and you were honoring him the whole time. I was trying to, failing sometimes, but trying. The waiter approaches nervously, unsure what is happening. Coburn looks up. Bring me whatever he is drinking. The waiter nods, hurries away. Coburn turns back to David. I am not saying we are friends. I am not saying I forgive everything. But I am saying, maybe I was wrong about you. Maybe you were. Maybe you were not. I took something I did not earn. That is true whether you hate me or not. But you did not choose it. No, but I benefited from it. That is its own kind of guilt. And you have been carrying that. Every day. Coburn is quiet. Processing. Bruce would have liked you. That is what makes it worse. David almost smiles. That is what Linda said. The champagne arrives for Coburn. He raises his glass. To Bruce, David raises his. To Bruce, the man who should be here. They drink. The restaurant slowly returns to normal. Conversations resuming. Forks moving. The drama, apparently, over. But something has shifted. Something that took 4 years to break. Finally breaking. Coburn stays for an hour. They talk about Bruce, about training, about philosophy, about the movies Bruce wanted to make, about the legacy he left behind. Not friends. Not yet. Maybe never. But not enemies anymore. When Coburn leaves, he shakes David's hand, keeps saying his name, every chance I get. Then maybe that is enough. He walks out. The restaurant watches him go. David sits back down, his agent and girlfriend staring at him with new eyes. What just happened? David picks up his champagne. A 4-year war ended. With a question Bruce Lee would have asked. What question? What would Bruce do? He drinks. James Coburn and David Carradine were never close friends. But after that night, the Cold War ended. Coburn stopped poisoning rooms, stopped the whisper campaign, even defended David once at a party when someone brought up the old accusations. When asked about it years later, Coburn said David asked me what Bruce would do, and I realized I had been doing the opposite for 4 years. Bruce believed in flow, in adaptation, in letting go of what you cannot change. I was holding on to anger that was only burning me. David kept his promise, kept saying Bruce's name, and eventually the people who hated him for taking the role began to respect him for honoring the man he took it from. That is what one question can do. The right question. Asked at the right moment. To someone ready to hear it. What would Bruce do? Sometimes the answer changes everything. He once said that the hardest role he ever played was not Kane, not Bill, but himself. A man caught between what he pretended to be and what he wanted to become. And maybe that is why his story still resonates. Because we all know that feeling. The gap between the mask and the face beneath it. Is there a moment in your life where someone saw through your mask? Or a moment where you finally took it off yourself? David Carradine walked through Hollywood for 50 years, carrying questions most people never ask out loud, about authenticity, about legacy, about what it means to be real in a world that rewards pretending. If you want to know the real stories, the ones they did not put in the interviews, you are in the right place. We are peeling back the curtain on the man behind the monk. If this story moved you, hit that like button. It helps more people discover these untold moments. Do not forget to subscribe to David Carradine, The Untold Path. We are just getting started. There are stories about Bruce Lee's funeral, about Tarantino's midnight call, and about the father who died in his arms. You do not want to miss what is coming next. Leave a comment below. What is your favorite David Carradine role? And did you know he carried this much weight behind the calm? I will see you in the next video. Walk the path.